Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today is just we're going to be going off today. So let me just get into the topic here. As y'all know, Kyrie Irving says some of the most head-scratching things of any public figure I can think of in the NBA. He says some of the most nonsensical things. And usually when you sit back and try to peel back what he said, if you just go back and listen to a lot of the things that Kyrie Irving says, you realize that you're listening usually to a bunch of nonsense. I'm not saying this to be rude. I'm saying it because it's true. I always find myself having a hard time trying to understand what Kyrie is usually talking about. Usually, I find it very difficult. It seems as if Kyrie usually just throws words together that feel good when he says them. But when you sit back and put all of what he said together, there's not a single line, like a thread of logic in what he's talking about, usually. And this is the reason everybody and their grandmother have been going at Kyrie Irving today. This is the reason. In the aftermath of the Brooklyn Nets being swept in the first round, the quote-unquote most skilled duo in NBA history, they got taken out in 4 games. One half of that duo is out here spewing his usual gibberish and nonsense. Chris Broussard has been one of the biggest public supporters of Kyrie Irving all season long. But today, even Chris Broussard reached his breaking point. So for those of you who missed what Chris Broussard had to say on First Things First, take a listen to what he had to say. We're going to play a lot of it. And then we're going to come back here and really react to what he says. So take a listen to that.
You guys heard me yesterday. What did I say? I said, Nets, if you're a Nets fan or executive, you have to hope that this playoff series humbled Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. All right, because they think, both of them, they think that they see the game of basketball in some higher, secret, esoteric way that no one else understands. They really believe that.
That's correct.
And I hoped and I thought that this series would humble them. And that quote from Kyrie, as much as I'd love to defend him, I can't. I can't defend you sitting up there talking about me and Kevin are going to manage the team along with the owner and the coach. What? Or the GM?
No, and the GM.
What?
Yeah.
Here's the decision-making process. This is what's on their resume. Kevin Durant chose Steve Nash as coach. Kevin Durant left Steph Curry in Golden State, where who knows how many more championships they could have won, to join Kyrie and go to Brooklyn. And then Kyrie's resume has you left LeBron James. You guys may have won a championship or two after that, to go to Boston where that didn't work out, where you left there and they're better without you. Kyrie is better than Marcus Smart. Kyrie is an awesome player, but the Celtics Wilds are better without him because Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum would not have emerged as what they are if Kyrie were there. And this is what the Nets need to do. They need to sit down this offseason, maybe the day whenever they do their exit meetings, or maybe even after that, and tell Kyrie, you should opt into the final year of your deal. You're making $36 million, next season. You should opt in. Because if you don't, we're not paying you more. We're not giving you a long-term contract. We're paying you about the same, $36 million a year, for 1 year. And if Kyrie doesn't like it, where's his leverage? I'm serious. First of all, he killed whatever leverage he had yesterday by saying, I want to stay here. I don't want to go anywhere. That wasn't a revelation because every team in the league knows Kyrie wants to stay in Brooklyn. But even if he didn't necessarily want to stay in Brooklyn, teams are leery of him because of his unreliability. Back 3 years ago when he and KD went to Brooklyn, there were teams that were like, we're not going to sign Kyrie unless we have to get Kevin Durant. There were teams that didn't want Kyrie by himself. And I don't know any team that would give him a long-term contract. And then if we sign him, first of all, there's all the baggage from the past. Him just missing games for whatever reason, the injury history, all the other stuff. And then if he doesn't want to be here, how much more of an issue will all of that be? How many more weeks will he take off for private reasons? How many more times will he miss for some, catastrophe that happens somewhere on the earth? I mean, I don't think he has much leverage because I don't know another team that's going to go give him a max deal.
Listen, I said this in the live yesterday. The Nets need to get rid of Kyrie Irving. They need to get rid of him. You see, Kyrie was in a very peculiar situation this season. Kyrie was able to garner a groundswell of support because of his stance on not being vaccinated. There were people in the NBA, outside the NBA, that stood in solidarity with Kyrie Irving. Personally, I didn't care whether he got it or not. He is a grown man. He can do what the hell he wants. I don't care. Really, I don't. I have my own family to think about. Could care less, literally, if he took it or not. A lot of people supported him. He had a lot of support. What happened? Time went on, and ultimately, they lifted the ban. And guess what happened, guys? When Kyrie came out in his first game, he got a standing ovation. Not because he's the best player in the NBA. Not because he's better than Kevin Durant. People were applauding him for standing his ground. This was months ago. Since that point, it no longer became about your stance. It became about basketball. That is what we're talking about here. I heard an oath today in the comment section. Tell me, an oath. Tell me that congratulations for tearing down a black man. Let me just say this quickly. It's comments like this that hold black people back as a black person. What that dude wanted me to do is not criticize him. God forbid you criticize and hold somebody accountable that is your own skin color. Oh my God, you're selling out. What kind of stupid stuff is that? How can I be attacking a black man when I support black men? Help me understand, black man. This is the problem. They tried to turn Kyrie into a figure that cannot be criticized. I'm not talking about his vaccine. We're talking about basketball. This is what Chris Broussard is talking about. He ain't talking about no damn vaccine. He is talking about his performance on the court and what he said thereafter. Don't change the subject. That's what we're talking about. If you guys want to go to CNN or Fox News or MSNBC, please make your way over there. This is not a political channel. It is not. Don't try to turn it into that. We are talking sports. I've told people this before. Why don't you talk? Because I hate politics. I hate it for the games that people play like this. This is a game that dude wanted to play with me. That's a game he's playing. Don't say this because you're doing it, but it's nonsense, rubbish, pure rubbish. That guy that's saying that will come in a comment and say that, you go ask him, what is he with his own mouth done for black people? What has he done? Has he reached in his pocket and done stuff? No. What he'll do is sit back and run around and type nonsense under people's comments. What are you talking about, the black man? Nonsense. Kyrie needs to go. They need to. You heard Chris Broussard talking about a player option. He said either he picks it up or you let him walk. If I'm the Nets, let the guy go. You already saw what you got with him. Be stuck with Ben Simmons. The same Ben Simmons that people were celebrating. Just imagine, people were celebrating the fact that the Nets got Ben Simmons. It was perplexing. A guy that refused to play basketball is who was being lauded. Ben Simmons. When Chris Broussard is out here going at Kyrie, you know it's bad. Because Chris has been the one defending him against Nick Wright. So if Chris Broussard is saying it, you know something is wrong. This guy, Kyrie just talks. He says, what he says makes no sense whatsoever. No sense. Be honest. If you were sitting next to somebody like Kyrie Irving in the plane and this guy started talking, how much longer would it take before you to put on your mask and just go to sleep? So man, this guy's just here talking nonsense. You sit back and you listen and you're like, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? I 100%. This is what you guys, just imagine, this was the type of thinking. This is what you guys expected the Nets to win with. How can you win with him? How can you win with him? First of all, blaming LeBron. I can't blame LeBron no more. Because after LeBron left Kyrie, he went on to win a championship. What has Kyrie done since then? What has he done since then? And now his reputation is being called to the carpet because like, wait a minute, guy, we don't trust you. Even Jay Williams, one of his biggest public supporters, is now saying, Kyrie, you sound tone deaf. Jay Williams, let me guess, Jay Williams don't like black people too, huh? He don't like black people too, huh? When he was defending Kyrie, I guess he loved them and now all of a sudden he hate them, huh? This is why you can't take these people seriously. Anybody that will defend Kyrie Irving, there's no point even talking to these people. There's no point. Because they're talking about we're talking about basketball. These guys are talking about they're talking about politics. When Jay Williams is calling him to the carpet, you know there's an issue. You know there's an issue. I completely concur with what Chris Broussard had to say. They need to let this guy go. He ain't worth it. Kyrie ain't worth it. He's not even a top 10 player. He's not worth it. He's not. Why are we making all of these concessions for him? He's not worth it. He's not even a top 75 player. These are my thoughts. Catch you guys on the next episode.